Before I begin this review of the incredible Halt and Catch Fire 2-hour season finale, I know I look like fucking shit right now, okay? I was shaving and I had acne right here, right here, right here, and right here. I cut this one while shaving. I put I tried to put like acne spot treatments on these areas, and then what happened was I had an allergic reaction to them. And I always have this thing on whenever I'm shaving or like using face wash or whatever so that my long hair stays out of the way, and I was too lazy to take this off. And right now, like in this like plain white shirt, I almost look like I escaped from Arkham Asylum or something. But anyways, I know I look like shit right now. Please don't make fun of me for it, even though you fuckers in the comments that have no idea who I am and are discovering me for the first time will probably say that anyways in the comments. Anyways, let's get that shit out of the fucking way. Holy shit, this 2 hour of this is probably, I'm not gonna lie to you right now, I'm gonna be 100% honest. These 2 hours are probably, without a doubt, some of the greatest 2 hours of television I have ever seen. And it is such a shame that Halt and Catch Fire isn't getting the love and it's not getting enough viewers that it absolutely deserves to be having. With all that being said, let's dig right into this episode, which is, I'm going to be doing two separate videos. So I'm going to be doing episode 9 now, and then I'm going to be doing episode 10 in a separate video. So episode 9 was titled NIM, and I have no idea what that's supposed to stand for, but we'll see. So the one thing that really shocked the hell out of me is all of a sudden when we and of course I'll be spoiling these. So if you have not watched these episodes, please watch them. And if you've made it this far into the video and my shitty appearance hasn't made you want to turn off the video just for 1 second, if you haven't even watched Halt and Catch Fire, the first 2 seasons are on Netflix. You can probably catch up on season 3 on AMC.com. Go watch it. Trust me, you won't regret it. So, when we open up, Donna works at Diane's investment firm, and once again I see a bunch of parallels to Mad Men, where we see the name of the law firm, or not law firm, the investment or the venture capitalist fund firm thing, whatever you want to call it. You see it's now like Gold and Emerson and something else, but I forget what exactly it is. I think it might be whatever it is, the title of that episode is. It's called She Works Somewhere Else Now, and we're wondering, that's strange. So she works here now. So obviously we're at a time jump. But the one thing that really got to me was just finding out that her and Gordon are now divorced. But not only that, the thing that kind of gave me chills, and this just speaks to how much of a fucking nerd I am. Whenever she turned on the computer, it's like, oh, it's Windows 3.0. But at the bottom, right there, it says Microsoft copyright 1990, and that's how we finally found out now. Bam, we are in the 90s. Holy shit. The thing is, this show has so categorized itself as being a show that's all about the 80s, and then wait, we're in the 90s now, and it's sort of like how Mad Men was, it's a show about the 60s, and then all of a sudden, in the last half of the final season, all of a sudden we're in 1970 now, and yet we still have an entire fourth season to go, and we're already in the 90s, so it's like, the possibilities now, my head's just spinning thinking about what could possibly happen. But anyways, so I'm excited, this is a fresh take. And the other thing that happened too about this is these last two episodes, or the season finale, felt like a season. This felt like a season premiere more than a season finale. If that makes, am I the only one that felt that way? But yeah. So, anyways, Gordon and Donna are divorced, and I already mentioned that. Yeah, I'm looking at my notes here. Donna is now a partner at the VC firm. So, then we find out that Joe now lives in a completely different place, much smaller place now. And another clue that we find out it's the 90s is we get we've got wireless phones. And so now Joe calls Donna. No, fuck me. Donna calls Joe, and she wants him to give Cameron a message at Comdex. And yet we're still trying to figure out what could that possibly mean. We don't know. But next up, so yeah, it was really nice to see Comdex again, because it was a really nice throwback to season 1. And so I'm really wondering what exactly is going to happen. I'm sorry if I'm rambling. It's 1 a.m. because I just stayed up watching The Flash and went straight into the 2-hour finale, and then I watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So apologies once again for this probably likely terrible video, but I have to make this now. Sorry. Anyways. So Cameron is at Comdex for her game that she made. So we saw her create, a prototype of it in the last episode. And now it's a success, and she's made 3 sequels to it. But the biggest thing that I took away from this is Atari is still successful in the year 1990. That's interesting, because last I knew, Atari got sold to Warner Brothers, or Warner Communications, or whatever it was, and they got completely taken out. And they sort of fell off the wayside. I don't know. So next up, so we find out that Gordon still owns NSFNet, and of course, but one last thing I had to mention, Cameron and Tom are still married. So, okay, lasted 4 years, so Donna was wrong, they did last more than 1 year. So Gordon has a 90s dating tape, which is this phenomenon that I found out while reading Aziz Ansari's book, where he says that in the 80s and 90s, people would do these audition tapes for dating, like a prerequisite to online dating, which I thought was very funny to watch. And the other biggest thing is Joni is now a teenager. And boy almighty, is she full on 90s now. She wears it looks like, she wears the flannel, and she wears the all black, and she is a vegan now, and she is the type of vegan that is very annoying, and she's pretty much what you expect a teenage girl growing up in the 90s to be like, just the stereotype, she hates establishment, she hates a lot of things, she's angry, she's rebellious, and all this stuff. One thing that's interesting, though, is we got to see Joni, but we never got to see Haley at all. Sort of like how, I'm sorry that I keep making references to Mad Men, but I keep saying in the past, Halt and Catch Fire fills this void with Mad Men, and I see so many parallels to it. Just like how we constantly got to see Sally grow up, but we barely got to see Bobby. So anyways, so Gordon is seeing someone. She's seeing someone now who, interestingly enough, Gordon is seeing someone who, at the same place that he works at. So, next up, We go to the more interesting part of the what I think was the best part of the episode was Joe and Cameron have a reunion. And I'm not just talking about about his penis and her vagina reuniting. I'm talking about their relationship. Like, they had a reconnection and they blossomed again, and it was really nice to see. Gave me flashbacks to season 1 of the series, and so yeah, that was nice. So we got to see them have a nice talk throughout walking around Convex, and then we saw this one part of the episode that I thought was absolutely hilarious was those guys from season 1 with the broken printer. They still have shitty printers, but the thing that I liked was Karen and Joe were just like having so much fun, just tearing those two people apart. And then she just took the jar of lighters with the sprinter, even though S printer, and then she was just like emptying it into her purse and all that stuff. So then they play a game with lighters, and they're sitting up in the stairs, and they talk about their reactions to how Cameron talked about Ryan's suicide. And of course, that's still a very touchy subject to Joe, and we finally got to see Cameron's side of it. And once again, I just really liked seeing Joe and Cam, because their chemistry to get Lee Pace and Mackenzie Davis, their chemistry together, it's so good. And, we got to see a lot more of it here in this episode. So, the one thing that I thought was funny was Joni couldn't go to that party she wanted to go to, so she was stuck in the house with Gordon, and I forget what Gordon's date was. Was her name Stephanie? You know what? Fuck it. Just for the sake of this review, I'm going to call her Stephanie because I can't remember. And it's now 1:05 a.m. So, it's funny because Gordon is now like a chef. He fancies himself a pasta from scratch maker. And yet, and after they were I said Jordan. After Gordon and Donna both talked on the phone, and then Joni still couldn't go to the party. You just see her just punching that dough, and I thought that was just great. So next up, Joe and Cameron get drunk, and they're dancing at the Atari party, and then we find out the whole reason why Joe was there in the first place, because Donna asked him to be there, and then we get to see Joe over there. And at first we could tell, because in that last episode, Joe and Cameron were both there. And they were just standing at the grocery store, and Donna was like, "Hi," and then Cameron was like, and you could tell, she's still pissed even though it's now 1990 and it's 4 years later. She's still pissed at her for everything. So, but then we find out that Joni ruins Gordon's date, and I really love the banter that happened there, because Joni talks about why she's a vegan, and she says, cows get decapitated, and there's the thing is, in beef, there's cow shit in beef, so there's shit in that, I forget what kind of pasta they were eating, but, Joni tells Stephanie, there's shit in your pasta. But then I love this moment when when she starts eating cereal, and then Gordon tells Joni, there's probably there's lots of cow piss in milk too. Fucking bitch. Well, he didn't say fucking bitch. I added the fucking bitch part because it was like, yeah, take that, you fucking vegan. But okay, by the way, full disclaimer. Can you tell that I'm supposed to be in bed right now, but now sleep deprivation is kicking in, and I'm just rambling and getting more and more loony? Like my appearance, my behavior, and my speech is now reflecting my appearance. Anyways, you remember when fuck me, I don't even know what the hell I was talking. Okay, full disclaimer. I've got nothing against vegans. I just love taking the piss out of them because I'm. It's past my bedtime. So anyways, so after Stephanie leaves and looks like she's gone for good, they go to talk to Joni, and she tells Gordon, "You're too simple." Here, and she said, here's the real reason why you like Stephanie. It's because you work for Mom, and Stephanie works for you. So it's like, oh shit, there's your power balance drama right there. So I thought, damn, there we go. Truth bombs have been dropped. Fuck me, this video review is going terribly. But I don't care, because I'm like Ed Wood. We're going to keep rolling. So next up, now Joe and Cameron go up to the rooftop, and he tells Cameron he found her at Comdex because Donna wanted to make up with her, and yet she thinks that this is Joe's manipulation the whole time, and yet Joe is still there. And then he says, I came to see you. And it was in this moment when you can really tell that Joe really does. He still loves Cameron. And you can still see it in them. And you can just read it on his face and his speech. And I thought, yeah, that's how you could tell he still cares. So then, here we go. We see Joe and Cameron talk to each other. I mean, well, yeah, they do talk to each other. They talk to each other with their privates for the first time since season 1. And I thought when that happened, I was like, oh shit, here we go. The fucking begins again. So next up, we can see that Joni and Gordon are watching Saved by the Bell, and Joni asks Gordon if he's okay, because it looks like the brain damage is now starting to affect him so much that he's actually having trouble walking. Like, it's like almost like he needs a cane, but needs to grab things to hold on to. So I'm wondering, leading into season 4, like, is his brain damage going to keep progressing? We'll just have to find out. So next, Cameron visits Donna at her hotel room, and she tells her, working with you was the most fun I ever had. And it was at this moment when Cameron knew that they continued, that it was time for them reconciling. But yeah, anyways. So next up, then the episode ends with Joe reading an essay, or like a paper, called World Wide Web, and that leads straight into our season, the final episode of season 3, and I loved this episode. I thought it was fantastic, just the way it was handled with the time jump, and yet the way it's like they had to establish everything and yet set up the end of the season and everyone's relationships, how they are, the way everyone just comes back together. I just love it, and this was a 10 out of 10 for me. It was just, I don't see how this episode could have gone any more perfect. And so anyways, that's the end of this episode, and the end of my review. So make sure that you watch my next video, which is going to be me reviewing season 3, episode 10 next. And the episode is called Next, and you'll see that next. Anyways, I really have to take a piss, so I'll be back. So please watch that video next, and I'll see you there. Bye.